For your reaction to particularly the Chancellor's and the Health Secretary's resignations?
Well, it's been a very difficult day. No one's going to suggest anything otherwise, but I sincerely hope that the Prime Minister appoints a new Chancellor and a new Secretary of State for Health, and we get on with those challenges, because in health and in the economy we do have challenges. We've got to tackle that cost of living crisis, a global cost of living crisis. We've also got to reduce those COVID waiting lists, so we need top people in those positions, and I'm confident in the next coming days we'll have two excellent cabinet positions and colleagues in those positions, and we'll tackle those real main issues that we need to challenge.
In saying that, the questions of Boris Johnson's leadership are not going to go away with those two appointments. There's a lot of your colleagues, maybe even a majority now, who don't support his leadership. In the end, if you want political stability, frankly, it's not going to come with this Prime Minister, is it?
Well, I wouldn't say it was a majority. Let's just wait and see what happens. But there are going to be colleagues who have never reconciled themselves to Boris being Prime Minister or Brexit. Lots of people are making their own choices about what to do right now. But I want to focus on the choices the country has. That's on growing the economy, dealing with the cost of living crisis. That's dealing with the COVID backlog, making sure we get on top of that. And that's making sure we've got more police on our streets. I represent Peterborough, a working city, and I can assure you that's what people want us to do. They want us to get on the front foot and tackle those issues and not descend into infighting like this.
But isn't the problem that, frankly, a lot of people just believe that the Prime Minister is a liar? He doesn't tell the truth. They felt that about Partygate. They felt that about what's happened with Chris Pincher this weekend. Prime Minister says he's not going to change. In those circumstances, people will think he'll just carry on lying.
In Peterborough, the Prime Minister won me my seat. I confidently believe that. He also won 2.5 years ago an 80-seat majority. This is a man who's never lost an election, and he deserves the chance to go to the British people and put his track record on the line against whoever leads the Labour Party, because we don't even know if Keir Starmer's going to be leading the Labour Party if he gets a fine over Beergate, so we don't know that yet either. But I think the Prime Minister is the best man to lead this country. He's the best man to deal with the challenges like the global cost of living crisis, like our NHS COVID backlog, and getting more police on the streets and doing the things that people in my seat in Peterborough really care about.
Do you think, though, in the end, frankly, he'd forgotten about this? I mean, it does seem quite extraordinary. You know, if you were told a colleague had a complaint upheld against him of sexual misconduct, if you'd made jokes about it subsequently years later, we all know. We all work in Westminster. We all know the rumours about Chris Pincher. I mean, do you honestly think he had forgotten about it?
Look, all I'll say is I've worked in politics and been around politics for some time. I'm not going to comment on the rumour and speculation that goes around all the time, quite frankly. We all remember the rumours and speculation that went on around the Member of Parliament who was watching things he shouldn't have been watching in Parliament. All those proved to be completely inaccurate. On the case of the former Deputy Chief Whip, of course what he did is completely unacceptable, and it's right now that he's gone. But what people are telling me on the doorstep, day in, day out, is that I want us to focus on those key issues, focus on growing the economy, dealing with the global cost of living crisis, focusing on those NHS COVID backlogs, and getting more police on the streets.
Indeed, but at the same time, he's had to apologise over the Owen Paterson affair. He's had to apologise over Partygate. He's not apologised over Chris Pincher. He says he's not going to change. How do you know that for the next 2 years he's not going to have to carry on apologising for mistakes he may well have made or he may make in the future?
Look, Boris Johnson, being Boris Johnson, broke the Brexit deadlock, got jabs in people's arms and got us out of the COVID lockdowns. He's leading the free world when it comes to the crisis in Ukraine. This is a man who's done some extraordinary things, and I think he deserves the opportunity to deal with these domestic challenges that we have. As I say, growing the economy, dealing with those NHS backlogs, and getting more police on our streets. And I'm confident that come the next general election, that will be a track record to be proud of, and he will carry on and be Prime Minister.
And just very finally, what would you say to your colleagues tonight? You know, as I say, we don't know the numbers, but 40% of them voted against him, more than 40% just a month ago. I would put forward that number's probably somewhat growing. What would you say to them who they want to change the rules and they want to force another leadership challenge?
Look, I'm not stupid enough to turn around and say to you that losing a Chancellor and losing the Secretary of State for Health is not a bad thing. Of course it is. Of course it is. But we've got a challenge ahead of us. He won that leadership contest, or that confidence vote, only a few weeks ago. The rules are quite clear. He's got a year now until we can have a further election, and that's what I would urge colleagues to do. Let the Prime Minister govern. Let us deal with those domestic challenges, and let's get back on the front foot.